Hello, hello. Welcome to the CTB Show. Today is May 18th, 2021. The weather, it's spring. I never mean to be disrespectful, and I don't mean to be a wise guy. R.I.P. Charles Grodin. Welcome to the show. Me name is Evan the Mayor. That is Brian the Levy.
Oh, hi, Evan. I'm just here voting for us for Baltimore's best podcast on the Baltimore Sun.
We'll get to that. And that is Casey Kasem.
This is the way.
Wow, Casey with the first visual gag of this video era of the podcast. Thank you. Welcome to the show. What was that, Brian?
Way to go, Carrot Top.
Well, Brian, due to your technical glitches this week, maybe you should be wearing the Mandalorian helmet.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. For those of you watching on YouTube, you may notice at times that Brian will say a word or two and then his mouth will move after the fact. We will try to compensate for that in hilarious ways.
I don't think that's going to be what's happening, but let's do the show. It's going to be great.
All right, so top of the show plugs, which Brian already sort of teased. The Baltimore Sun Reader's Choice poll is up and running. Please navigate to baltimoresun.com and find that poll and vote for the CTB Show, or the City That Breeds podcast, as it is called on the website, for Best Podcast. I think we got third place last year. Wow.
Yeah, this year there's a whole bunch of people, some of whom I've heard of, and, we're better than all of them, so fuck them.
Look, we are a podcasting community here in Baltimore, Brian. We've got enough things stacked against us as a community to begin with. So let's not spread the hate. Let's spread the competition, friendly competition.
Oh, they can all lick my dick.
Oh, okay. Well, as an opening bit, I figured we would drill down through some of these other categories on the reader's poll, because some of them are questionable. In terms of somebody definitely nominated themselves and or their mom nominated them and they're the only nominee in the category. Some categories didn't have nominees, and I don't know why they would bother to actually list the fact that there was not a nominee rather than just remove it from the whole thing. Like, there was one, it was like Pandemic Celebrity, no nominees.
Yeah, like, who is the intern that should get fired for, giving that up?
I don't know, and I don't want to know.
Do we want to read off some of these?
Yes,
I would
Casey.
love to.
From the Department of Technology, Casey the Kasem, please, let's start going through these categories.
The first one is Redditor.
Redditor.
With dropping one nominee. Who gonna check me, boo?
Casey, are you familiar with this Redditor? Are they on the /r Baltimore subreddit? Because how do you qualify as the best Redditor in Baltimore? Are you just
I think
posting...
you add yourself.
Are you posting awesome photos of the Patterson Park Pagoda on a daily basis, or sunset shots of the Domino Sugar sign?
I think you just add yourself.
But I also need to highlight the fact that my close personal friend Reagan was also nominated. Their featured entry said they got screwed over and would make an interesting addition to the poll.
Yeah, it was Reagan and what's her name?
Bethany. Yeah,
Bethany?
yeah. There are no entries for rapper and MC, which I think says something about the Baltimore Sun's readership.
You're right. What does that mean? What rappers?
Only one entry for Sports Talk Show.
Oh, yeah.
1057. Stage actor. There were two entries. Like, give me a break. Like, come on. I mean, like, I support Megan Anderson and at the Everman Theater and Molly Cohen of the Acting Corporation, but I mean, their mothers should just stay home on this one.
I think the most confounding category for me was Best Oriole, Baltimore Oriole. of which there are 2 nominees, one of which is retired.
Yes,
Because it did. I guess it just, it didn't qualify of all time. It just says best Oriole.
Yeah, they should have been a little bit more clear. This is another indicator of the attitudes of people of 2021. There are no entries for Twitter personality.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm kind of happy about that because it's like, I don't know who makes the cut. Like, is it somebody who's funny? Somebody who's a total activist? Is it somebody who, like, I don't know, because it's nobody springs to mind in my head, because everything I see in terms of Baltimore Twitter is either food or activism. That's basically it.
When you think of writers in Baltimore, who do you think of?
Oh, the top 2, David Simon and his wife.
Well, the featured entrance for writer in this category is Laura Lippman. She celebrates all of it. And then allow me just to read the entry without telling you the name. I've been reading his story since the 70s. His growth as a writer has been fascinating to watch. Nowadays, I read as much for the character interplay as for the horror. What will he come up with next? Which Baltimore author do you believe that they're speaking of?
Oh, little Stevie King from Brooklyn.
Little Stevie King from Brooklyn, Maine.
That's a little Quanny Leaps reference that we just made.
Little Ziggy gets it wrong. It's a real shame Ziggy gets it wrong. Was it next year? Next year we're gonna try to get Ziggy gets it wrong.
Yeah, we should do that. Let's nominate it.
I definitely get it to be a featured entrance, so I can have the Baltimore Sun, the AP newspaper of record in Baltimore, has to talk about the Quantum Leap podcast.
Recognize the existence of a Quantum Leap podcast. That we release one episode a quarter.
If Brooks Robinson can make the list for best Oriole, then I believe that our podcast on this 30-year-old TV show is definitely what the people are looking for.
We have to do one better. We have to then start a new podcast next year about homicide life on the streets.
Listen,
okay.
If it was easy, if that was a show that was easy to access, we would do that.
I bet we could find it on DVD, and I have the technology to rip it.
Ooh, we have the technology.
My favorite is the meteorologist category.
Oh yeah, our good friend Justin Burke is on there.
The featured entrance and a little bio for Justin Chambers, Fox 45. He's new to Baltimore and knows how to give an accurate forecast. Like, is this a dating
rousing endorsement?
Again, someone's mother. Interest. It's just so weird. What about personal trainer?
Oh, I think that. Okay, so is that the most heated category, like contested? I feel like personal trainer and weather person were both had like many nominees, and I think personal trainer certainly had the most.
Instagram has quite a few.
Oh, really?
I have a question. I don't want to be heteronormative and stuff, but what's with Danny Singer, a young man who spells his name Dani?
I don't know.
When I think Danny Singer, I think of like a Jewish girl at Hebrew school. That does not look like that. Looks like Danielle Singer, but Danny Singer, Dani. Sus, bro. Sus.
Well, maybe it's a trans trainer.
I don't think so. But even so, I think they should be Dan. Dani is rough. That's where I stand on this.
Okay. Well, I don't know how many minutes we want to spend on this topic, but are there any other categories, Casey, that stuck out for you?
Not really. Yeah, there's really nothing else. It's all kind of the same old.
In the DJ category, I had to go with Landis Expandis because he does the karaoke at Hun Bar.
Oh, sure.
The guy from Almighty Senators.
He is excellent. Look, I just think that generally everyone that isn't us on this list sucks.
Okay.
Wait, hold on.
Especially the clergy members.
There's a category with no entries. Pandemic celebrity.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mentioned that.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
It's just
One of the
it's
ones
just really shoddy, and I'm happy to be involved in these half-assed pieces of viral marketing. I guess I don't know what it is.
I think historically, and I think we all know this to be true, that even when you get like a city paper poll award, you're getting 50 votes. In some
Oh yeah.
cases, less, depending on best barber shop, that kind of thing. Like stuff that is very barely on the radar of everybody's mind, unless it's like best crab cake or best Raven Oriole, whatever.
And I don't want to see any of you starting Instagram posts about best crab cakes. That is bullshit, and it's not funny. And I was thrilled to not see their name on the list.
Oh,
Ballpark
got it.
humor.
Oh no, they've already moved on to best the pit beef bracket. Didn't you see that on Fox 45, Brian?
This is not helpful for this audio medium that we're doing. So I just sit
If
here.
you would like to see Brian shaking his head no and me waving my arms, what? Go to YouTube and watch our videos. Yeah, if you would like to see Casey in a Mandalorian helmet,
Actually,
go to YouTube.
This is just what Casey looks like. I don't even know that he's wearing a helmet.
Yeah, it's a prosthetic helmet that he must wear to like unfuse some of his spine parts.
He's Dr. Doom.
sound any different when I have the helmet on?
You sound like you have a helmet on in my earphones.
Yeah, you kind of look like a dick. I don't mean like a jerk. I mean you look like a human penis.
A pee-pee. All right, so let's move along. The reason I'm choosing my virtual background this day, not just because I'm wearing my favorite shirt on earth, the mustard shirt via the Orioles, but I was unaware that there are other sports teams, baseball teams, because I'm a young child and am ignorant about all things of the world, that other baseball teams have condiment races at their baseball stadiums.
Here's the first thing I'll say. The relish hot dog over your shoulder also kind of looks like a dick.
They all kind of look penal.
They all, I think, is the. I kind of assume, yeah, they're all over the place. So do they like kind of flavor them like for like at Cubs games? Does the condiment races have like poppy seeds and tomatoes on the hot dog?
Chicago style. So I could only find like 2 or 3 other baseball teams that were listed on the Wikipedia page, which is, as we all know, a comprehensive tome of information. But I know that the Kansas City Royals is one team that does it, and then there are like 2 others.
Paul Rudd's own, Kansas City Royals.
Yep. What?
Paul Rudd is
and then there's a team that doesn't even do hot dogs. It's just like literally the Heinz ketchup bottles and the mustard and the relish.
It's the same thing as like the president's racing, right?
Well, the Senators have their presidential whatever race.
The Senators do? Yeah, that's the name of that team?
That's the Washington
Nationals.
Hashtag one city.
we have one listener that gets that hashtag.
That was just for him.
But yeah, I was completely unaware, and the outrage that I took was on the Wikipedia page. The mascot races is the topic. Baltimore Orioles not mentioned, like for the condiment section. What the fuck? What's going on here?
Do they mention us in the crab shuffle?
No, that is not a race. That is like a shell game, literally.
Do they mention John Denver?
I don't. Probably like Camden Yards, if it has a Wikipedia, which I'm sure it does, mentions the 7th inning stretch and the crab and the thing and the. And if it doesn't, and I'm saying, number one, all the Wikipedia hackers in our listening audience, please add some stuff to the mascot race section about the Orioles doing the condiment race. And if the Camden Yards Wikipedia entry does not have something about the crab shuffle, add that too, please. Thank you.
We have to have at least one listener that's a Wikipedia editor.
I'm going to say, statistically speaking, at least one, yes.
Yes, unless we are a Venn diagram of some groups, and then we might have a couple.
Yeah, we'll reach out to some hackers
So if we wanted to kind of diversify our race, we don't want to be involved with the same race in multiple different places. What should our new race be?
Interesting question.
It's
So
just,
because so other cities do food still other than hot dogs. I think I forget which team does just sausages. Um, so we could do, a crab versus a SK hot dog, except that they're not the vendor there anymore.
crab cakes versus burger cookies versus Mary Sue chocolates.
Mary Sue Easter eggs, Mary Sue Easter eggs.
Really get the Baltimore. Make sure everyone knows.
Yeah, by picking the three like fattest, blobest foods and just having them like.
Crab cakes versus burger cookies versus peppermint lemon mint sticks.
Ugh. Oh yeah, the peppermint sticks. Oh God, I hate those things. God, I hate those things.
You could do the mascots and do the Natty Bow,
Yeah.
the Utz girl, and then just Edgar Allan Poe, I guess. I don't
Well,
know.
here's the problem, Casey. Sally Utz is from Hanover, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and also Casey, as opposed to the other two, Edgar Allan Poe is a fictional character.
Yeah.
I know. I listen. Good news about hating the lemon on sticks.
Mm-hmm.
You never have to eat them again, and this year it's going to be very cold because Artscape is canceled,
Right.
and that's the
Well,
only place
I
ever.
never remember seeing them at Artscape. It was always
Are they
Flower
Flower
Mart.
Mart thing?
Yeah.
Oh, no, never mind. Flower Mart's probably canceled too.
Yeah, well, we're past due on that one, yeah, so it's canceled. But I remember them specifically from like church functions, and I was just like, what is the appeal of this?
Not me.
Well, yeah, probably not your church.
No church functions here.
Right. Hey,
No,
should we talk
sir.
about Palestine?
Yeah. God. God. I can't tell which one of my which group of friends is more annoying. The ones who are like demanding that the colonizing Jew, like, give me a fucking break. The colonizing Jews must be stopped, or the ones being like, guys, you don't understand. Like, be nice to the Jews. I'm like, this all seems a little bit condescending to me. Thanks. God, think of all the education that people are wasting. We have all of these virologists over the last year. Now we have all these international politicians. There are school experts on education. God, I hate the fucking internet, man, so goddamn much. It's exhausting. It's exhausting.
All right, we don't need to do this then.
He said on the internet. I hate the
Hold on,
internet.
hold on.
This is exhausting.
Let me
said
make
on
the official
internet.
sound effect. All right, we're moving along. To a different topic, Baltimore related.
Equally as infuriating.
To some. Oh no. So Casey and I are referring to the Google sheet where we've got the topics. We were. I guess we can do it next. Talking about CDC mask. Advisement.
I was going to say the most infuriating topic for people of Baltimore this week was our close personal friend, Mayor Brandon Scott, not having a mask on at Preakness.
Right.
If the internet is anything to tell me.
What makes it more? So we will talk about this. But what makes it so irritating is the absolute distortion between the CDC, the federal guidelines, the state now saying like, oh, you don't have to wear your mask at all, whatever, and then the city being like, as of Monday, you don't have to wear your mask. Some places, but most other places, yes.
I was at the Glen Burnie Giant today, and there were multiple people just walking around with their fucking chins like, we're free. And I'm like, not yet, bro. Just not yet.
Well, I did think it was strange, and I wish I could speak to the mayor. Like, if I had a bat phone for him, I'd be like, where did you come up with 65%, like, as the guideline?
He actually expanded on that. So 65% is actually what the rest, like the state was at when Hogan said, okay, we're not going to wear masks. So that's,
I
I
thought
guess,
no,
where he
even
got
Hogan's
65.
number was higher than that. I thought it was like 70
So
or 80.
that was what his initial goal was.
Right.
But if you look at the percentages, the day that they're like on that Saturday, it was at 65%. So basically, like what the mayor is saying is when we have the same vaccination rate as the rest of the state did when they got rid of the mask mandates, that's when we'll get rid of masks.
Okay, that's great. That's cute. But what if it's July 4th and we haven't hit 65% yet? I don't know that we will.
I decided a couple weeks ago that everything the CDC is doing these days is amounted to a fuck it. You know, we fucked this shit up anyway. There ain't nothing we can do, and we can't control these people anymore. Just give them what the fuck they want.
So, speaking as a person who does interact with the CDC and also the NIH, I can't imagine there was a lot of crosstalk between the two organizations in terms of, like, Anthony Fauci, was he aware that the head of the CDC was going to get on YouTube and be like, hey, we've all really wanted to get out there and take our masks off, and this is, we're getting there. We're
Mission accomplished.
We did it. Get on that aircraft carrier with that banner and the jets flying over with the red, white, and blue chemtrails coming out. We're done. It certainly is one of the problems we have in government is just the lack of communication or crosstalk. I can't imagine that the NIAID, it's the infectious disease division of NIH, which Fauci is the head of, but is also the president's infectious disease guy, went into a room with the CDC peeps and was like, are we doing a press conference? Because how come shouldn't we do this at the same time, like in the same space? I just thought it was very confusing. Total whiplash is the term that I am embracing. Because it's like one day the governor is like, oh, yeah, we can lift the mask mandate if we get to this certain percentage, and then the very next day the CDC is like, woo, and then he's like, yeah, fuck it.
The next day, everybody says,
why at this point aren't they filtering all their messages through like Joe Biden?
Excellent question, because I think part of the major problem we're having is like that the different voices are coming from different parts of the government, and it's like, well, wait, how come the CDC hasn't done a press conference like this before when it was Fauci before, and now it's something else? And yeah.
Maybe the CDC was just trying to distance themselves from the White House, maybe because they didn't want to be like perceived as like being directed by Biden, maybe because they were accused of doing that under Trump. I don't know.
I haven't trusted the CDC since the first X-Files movie said that they used the CDC to cover up for a black oil, an alien oil thing, and said it was hantavirus. And now I think the CDC is the CDC Men in Black.
Title of the episode? No, the answer is they are not. I don't think that. What government division would be the Men in Black? Would it be CIA?
No, God,
because you're dealing with like extraterrestrials that are living amongst us in society. So it would be like a combination of
FBI.
ICE, FBI.
The CIA is not allowed to operate on American soil.
Oh, you're right.
I would say it's a DOJ organization, though.
But it's also like an immigration thing. It's like a national security meets immigration meets God knows what else.
TSA. The Men in Black are under the jurisdiction of the TSA.
Excuse me, alien citizen. I'm going to need for you right now. Could you take out that bottled liquid right now and tell me how many ounces that bottle is right now?
Yes, this is my fetus. It is in a container that is radiation stabilized, so that...
it's over 3.5 ounces, sir. You're going to have to dump... I am a woman. You'll have to dump that out in the trash can right now. If you're going to travel to Cancun right now, I'm going to need you to turn that out, and thank you. Have a great day.
We're gonna need a supervisor.
Supervisor. We're gonna need to do probe here. How's it feel? Revenge is a dish best served slimy. Thank you. You can take that one.
Do
on the road.
aliens have to take their shoes off when?
Depends, Casey. Do they have feet? Do they
Right.
have shoes?
Stop being so aliencist.
Here's the real question: do horses have to take their shoes off when they go through PSA?
Ooh, they are metal.
And nailed into their foot.
So, when we finally get to the point where we've got anthropomorphic horses that are trying to get onto the plains to go to Horsania, a land for horses, will they have to remove their shoes to be scanned by TSA?
I have never seen that Netflix show Butterball Jones or whatever it's called. What is it called? What's the show about the horse?
Oh, BoJack Horseman.
BoJack Horseman.
Butterball
I have
Jones.
never seen it either.
It's good. You guys should watch it.
But what I've heard is that it's not funny and there are no jokes in it. So I assume they did an episode where Butterball Jones has to go to take a trip someplace and they're like, what is he going to do about his shoes?
That sounds like a bit that they would do.
Fuck that show.
Oh.
That's one of those shows that people are like, it's so funny. And then I will end up watching one of them and I'm like, when do I start laughing?
Right.
No, it's definitely it's definitely a depressing. But there's some lighthearted, funny moments, but it's definitely very heavy.
Who wants that shit? No one.
I liked it.
Brian, do you have a bird where you're recording?
Thank you for asking.
You mean a drone?
That is a cuckoo clock.
A cuckoo clock.
Once an hour, it will give you the different bird calls of the birds.
Okay.
There are lots
So
there.
Is the clock a drone?
Can you vamp? Do you want me to go tell you what that was?
I was gonna say so if birds are drones, is that just a drone clock? How does that work?
Why do you think it sounds so good? That technology was perfected in the 50s. Hold on. I'm going to tell you what that was.
I would have to imagine that cuckoo clocks were invented far before the 1950s. Just saying.
Unless is this Casey, the kind of clock that used to be on the television ads where you call the 1-800 number and then you have the clock that has the different bird calls? Is this the same clock?
Yeah, not my house, but I'd say there's a better than solid chance.
Okay. Scintillating.
Right, not my house.
Great pod. Okay, so before we get to taking a break, sorry, Casey, go ahead.
Cuckoo clocks date back to 1629 when a German nobleman named Philip Heinhofer described the clock belonging to Prince Elector August von Sachsen.
Here's the mind-blowing fact that we just revealed on this podcast, that drones have been around since the 1600s.
No. Birds have been around since the 1600s.
You mean drones?
So everybody knows that President Dwight D. Eisenhower ordered the destruction of all of the country's birds, and he was able to make them into drones. But that didn't happen until the 50s. Birds existed.
Wait.
Until then.
Is this the plan?
Hold on, Casey. I'm sorry. Brian, are you trying to tell me that the cuckoo clock birds that were in the cuckoo clocks from the 1600s are real birds and not drones?
Those are graphic representations of birds. But there were birds in the world until about the 50s.
Oh.
And then NATO and the countries, they all decided to eliminate all their birds and replace them with trillions upon trillions of drones.
So if I go to Costa Rica and I hang out in the jungle like I did 2 years ago, and I see a toucan, if that's a drone, who is it spying on?
First off, everyone knows that toucans aren't real. They're fucking cartoons.
I know. The toucan was trying to throw Fruit Loops at me, but so was that a cartoon or was it a drone?
Cartoons aren't real.
Well, then what was I seeing?
Not a toucan. Toucans aren't real. First off, toucans aren't real birds to begin with. Have you seen their noses?
They look weird.
No, that's insane. They're obviously just cartoons. You whatever you saw wasn't a next.
So what he's saying is you were hallucinating.
You were hallucinating.
It was very hot and.
Everybody knows it.
Okay,
is this
so
part of the plan? Is the bird drones part of the plan?
No, Casey, bird drones is very status quo. People in authority want to keep them around. Why do you think all the smartest people own parrots? Because those robots last a very long time and longer than the smartest people in the world. Honestly, there is no worse person in the world than a bird person. Like
I would say horse person.
horse person you don't keep in the house. Horses you don't keep in the house. Birds in the house smell.
Right. Okay. All right. So we're running out of time for this front half of the show, and we'll get to that other Baltimore thing after the fact. But it is now time to celebrate. Excuse me. The internet sensation. Sweeping 92Q. It's time for shoutouts. Oh no, I went back to that one.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Shoutouts is the part of the show in which we give mad props, aka shoutouts, to persons, places, and things that are improving our quality of life and giving us jollies. Casey, we have a item or two from the Facebook group.
Quite a few. Shout out to the fan zone. John H says, shout out to Casey, just cause.
Yes, Casey, in your creative endeavors to get more feedback.
I took your idea and I made it my own.
Yeah.
Hannah says, shout out to vaccinations and vacation.
Yes, Hannah is in the Dominican Republic this week, so
Saw the
jealous.
pictures. Very jealous. Tim Danger says, shout out to Night Shift Brewing. It's the heavy seas of Boston. It took me a while to really acquaint myself with all the beers. Needed to drink exactly 100 beers. But Night Shift is the night shift.
Cool.
Bobby Dirk says, shout out to Lido Pizzas. Lido for vaccination promotion. Basically, you get a free 8-inch cheese pizza for getting vaccinated. Cool.
That's at least an $8 value.
Yeah. Zach Electric Golf says, shout out to Casey's creative process. Also, shout out to no more mask mandates and vaccine cards on eBay.
Oh, right.
Because that's a thing.
Yeah, I need to get mine replaced.
You ruined yours already?
I lost at the instant I got my second vaccination.
That's how it goes.
Don't know how.
Tronster says, shout out to CTB getting paid sponsorships. About time you get in that cheddar. You all deserve it.
I agree. And shout out to Tronster for, I don't know, still being over at Firaxis. I put up that Sid Meier video from Evening Magazine back in the 80s, and it went over well with the video game community.
Yeah, we'll have to find an excuse to have him on. He's usually good. Good
Yeah,
person to talk
agreed,
to.
especially because we're going to have like another video game guest on at some point very soon.
Yeah. And my shout out is to live music coming back and great weather.
Sweet. Brian, what do you got?
Shout out to Dr. Brown's Black Cherry Soda.
Cool.
Thank you.
My shout out is to Thistle Socks. Birds.
Aren't real.
Yep. All right, that has been shout outs.
Yo, doo-doo.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take an ad break. I had thought to myself this past week that I during the bumpers I ought to run like very brief CTB classic clips because we have 362 episodes at this point, and some of the moments that we've recorded over the 500 plus hours of audio, some of them are funny. I don't know.
Would you be able to remember where those episodes clips are?
I have at least 10 of them sort of harvested already, and I think if between the three of us we could just spit them out onto a Google Doc, I can manage to sort of harvest them somehow. Or I could pay some sort of intern to time code every single one of the episodes.
Hannah, she ain't busy.
Just kidding, because she's going to law school. All right, we'll be right back after this ad break. Stay tuned. All right, we are back from break. Wow, what a great advertisement. All right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Actually got good feedback from the powers that be in terms of our recorded advertisements. Casey, we're gonna have to get you on one of them because you're on this show.
They're asking for you, Casey.
They want you. It should be noted that Brian is experiencing a visual delay with his audio, which means that he will be doing what he's doing right now for the rest of the show. All right, so I wanted to cover one more Baltimore thing before we get into our pop culture roundup, which I need to create an audio sting for. This past week, and I hate to keep doing this, but like every time I see one of the Mosbys in a headline, I'm like, oh boy, what happened this time? So I'm going to compress this into a very tiny nugget of information. But City Council President Nick Mosby was pushing this security deposit alternative, spearheaded by a company literally called Rhino, RHINO. So you know how, like, when you rent a place, you've got to put first month's rent up front as a security deposit in case you break things and this and that and the other, correct? Yes, we're all aware. Rhino, wow, what an innovation they have. Instead of paying it all up front, you sign a contract and you pay them in monthly installments, but they pay the landlord directly the security deposit. So you are, in essence, in credit debt to them for the security deposit. Sounds like a very great idea to me.
No, I think there's a lot that can go wrong. You should rethink this.
Thank you, Brian, for your succinct response that literally everyone had. And it was being pushed and pushed and pushed by the city council president and a few other lobbyists, let's just say. And Brandon Scott, the mayor, vetoed this bill. And then Nick Mosby went ahead and said that it was the modern-day version of redlining.
No, I just like, what happens, though, if, like, first off, is it like those payday loans? Are the interest rates, like, insanely bad?
Well, I don't know about the interest rates, but what I do know is that baked into the agreement, there are all sorts of things that people wouldn't read about how you, for instance, don't get your security deposit back under most circumstances because they have to take a cut of some variety, right? Like, they're not just going to get 2.4% interest on this security deposit alternative without keeping most of it because otherwise they would not be profitable. It was rife with problems. That's why it was rejected, vetoed by the mayor. Then Mosby basically goes ahead and calls it redlining, which that makes no sense to me at all, especially because redlining was done by the banks, and this is essentially a bank which is doing the same thing as kind of redlining a little bit, like in terms of poor communities that can't necessarily afford a full month's rent ahead of time.
Like Casey.
Like Casey, yes. Poor black woman, single mother.
They make so many babies now.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
Expensive to be poor. Like, that's really what it boils down to. It's just another way to
absolutely
tax the poor.
Absolutely, Casey. But I think what
Casey
my takeaway, I mean, it just blows my mind that. So it feels like the Mosbys are 10-year-olds who took a class in being woke and are using the jargon, but they don't quite know how to use it correctly.
Oh, like me.
You might be like on a 13-year-old level at this point, but yeah.
He's in college. Give him a break.
Thank you, Casey.
But his follow-up quote to this idea that a private corporation should not be like financing security deposits with potentially horrible outcomes is, this is what structural racism looks like in practice. Government's role turns paternalistic when it comes to poor black people. So he's saying regulation is the problem because this finance company should be free to do what it wants.
Well, here's the truth. Who else but our most vulnerable are going to be using this service? And then they're not necessarily the least transient people to fucking begin with. So now all of a sudden, they're making payments for a security deposit for a place they don't even fucking live anymore? Like,
yeah, or that. Yeah, something to that effect. But But again, I have to remind the listening audience and the viewing audience, if you're one of those rare individuals, that Nick Mosby is the same person who, when this whole George Zimmerman thing was going on in Florida and the boycott was floated in the city council of doing business with Florida. I don't know how much business the city of Baltimore does with Florida
We get all of our
because of the stand your ground laws and the Trayvon Martin killing. Their family now owns 2 investment properties in Florida. So I don't take anything they say with a whole lot of gravitas and or truthness.
Evan, they fixed Florida. It's done.
Right. Yeah, the stand your ground stuff, it's done. It's over. I honestly think that the Mosbys forgot they did that back when Trayvon Martin was a thing in the headlines. It was like so completely performative that, they just kind of forgot. And he's been a delegate since then. He's back in the city council, being the president and whatnot. And they're like, oh, yeah, let's get some investment properties in Florida, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, all I wanted was for us to have one election cycle where it wasn't going to be a total clusterfuck. And this is borderline clusterfuck. We've got the second most powerful person in leadership.
When is there going to be a vote?
Huh?
We just had an election. Is there another one?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking 4 years, but I'm saying in this span of these 4 years,
Gotcha.
where the city council president is potentially going to be in open warfare with the rest of everyone because he's trying to get certain things done that are shitty, and everyone else is like, nah, it doesn't sound good, and so. All right. Done.
Wow.
Let's move on to let's get on to fun stuff. Whee!
Sure.
I did the transition. No one could hear it, so whatever. Casey, you have some pop culture things you put on the Google Doc, neither of which I've seen, and I don't think Brian has seen either, but please tell us about them.
Yeah, I started watching 2 different shows. Me and the wife were in a mood for some detective mysteries.
The wife.
I've been hesitant to watch Mayor of Easton because I've heard it just seems kind of a downer, and haven't been in the mood. And then finally broke down, started watching it, and blew through all the episodes, and then realized it is not all out, and now I have to wait week over week.
So to tee it up, this is the Kate Winslet. What is it?
It's a detective mystery on HBO. So what's really interesting about it is it's kind of like the trope, which she's the detective in the town, and she literally knows everybody. And so she gets a call about a home robbery, and a woman's calling. She's like, "Yeah, my brother, he's a drug addict. He broke into my house." She's like, "Yeah, I know Billy," or whatever his name is. And then literally as she's getting the call, she sees the brother walking down the street, and she chases him down because it's a small town and everybody knows everybody, and she knows everyone. And that kind of keeps coming back over and over again. And it's kind of funny. It's a detective show, but yeah.
And everybody likes
the last episode. I literally jumped out of my. There's a moment, I won't spoil it because it's kind of crazy. Jumped out of my chair. Haven't really done that watching TV at home in a long time. So that's.
Everybody likes her accent, Casey. Do you like her accent? Does she go to Wall?
I haven't really noticed it all that much.
God damn it, Casey. That's like.
Is it the murder dirter accent?
Yeah.
Because like New England based. Yeah.
It is fucking famously from Pennsylvania. Jesus Christ. Are you watching this show at all?
I thought it was in New England. I didn't realize it was Pennsylvania. What are you talking
about? Philly. They talk about Wawa all the fucking time. I don't even watch this show and I know it.
I think that's something we need to briefly touch upon is the fact that there is literally zero difference between the Baltimore accent and the Philly accent. I mean, one might be a little thicker than the other, and specifically talking about white people, of course. But, yeah, I don't know much about, like, Pennsylvania accent versus Philly accent versus Baltimore accent. I have to imagine that those living out in the country of Pennsylvania have a stranger accent. But it's all, like, Pennsylvania Dutch shit.
I grew up. Where I grew up in Elkton, I was very close to PA. So like, I don't know, it just doesn't register for me.
Right. You can't. So you can't hear it, but you don't actually like. You don't really have a Baltimore accent or anything like that.
No.
Yeah. So it doesn't register in your head when you hear it.
Yeah, like it doesn't really sound. I mean, I know, like now that you say it, like yeah, she doesn't sound like her normal roles, but like it doesn't. Her accent doesn't register that different to me.
I think we can all recognize that the worst portrayal of that regional accent was American Horror Story Freak Show with Kathy Bates trying to be from Maryland.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Elizabeth Banks on 30 Rock.
Or that, yeah. Overstock. Overstock.com.
Overstock. Here, Johnny, you want to get some nice diamond earrings? Get on over to overstock.com.
Did you guys notice that Hulu, for a brief period, I don't know if they're still doing it, but somebody just mentioned Hulu on Twitter and said, how would Hulu pronounce it in a Baltimore accent? And they said Hulu, and changed their Twitter handle to Hulu, a.k.a. Hulu.
Did you see all the humorless, dumb Dundalk fucks who were like, I don't get it.
What's the difference?
That's what we always say. Duh. That was another internet thing that bugged me, because I can always tell which person is a Trump supporter by how late they will post the dumb fucking memes. Like if you are posting the Hulu meme like May 10th, you're a Trump supporter. Like that shit was old by that point.
I was gonna say anyone late to the party is a Trump supporter.
Hey, this meme is real funny, Ma. You should look at it.
It is funny nowadays. There are infinitely more tells as to who you voted for than in previous history. Like it used to just be like, oh, you had a bumper sticker on your car. Now it's like, oh, are you wearing a mask? Do you have the actual hat on your head? Do you mention certain topics just in line at Starbucks or Walmart? Do you go to Starbucks or Walmart?
What does your Starbucks order look like?
Right. But Casey, you've got another one listed here.
Yeah,
So,
the Sinner on Netflix. It is like the opposite of a whodunit. It is a why done it. Is the phrase I coined. So you immediately see the murder happen right off bat, and the show is about figuring out what their motive is. Even if in the case of the first season, the person doesn't know why they did it. So it's actually a lot of really good actors, and I never heard of this until I saw it on Netflix. Bill Pullman is the detective.
Bill Pullman.
So the president. And basically there's 3 seasons, and each season's a different crime, but he's the constant in all of it. And yeah, there's a lot of good actors. It's a pretty good story.
Cool. Brian, are there shiny things where you're recording? Because you could keep walking off camera as if it's, something you should be doing.
Yeah, I had something. It's like a night.
Or you see treasure across the room. You've got to go grab some.
You know what? Absolutely. Yes.
Yes. Treasure is your girlfriend.
Yeah, I had to grab some.
Yeah. So in the first season of The Sinner, so the murderer is Jessica Biel.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yo, remember when Jessica Biel was in fucking Fever Pitch and she took her shirt off? Oh, wait. Or is that... No, she was in a bathing suit in Fever Pitch. She takes her shirt off and does this. And I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
Oh, yeah.
Does Jessica Biel still make movies?
I think she's got kids and stuff and is married to someone else who's famous.
Justin
So doesn't need to. Yeah. That guy.
7 Heaven.
I just want to give a quick rundown of the thing that I watched this past week, which is called Raised by Wolves on HBO.
It's about Nell.
It's about Nell. If Nell were an android and spoke English and also was charged with raising children on a different planet.
Wait, wait, what? What's the show?
Raised by Wolves. Very, very heavy, high sci-fi, Ridley Scott produced show that has a lot of tonal notes from Prometheus, There are some there is a scene with an alien barfing out of somebody's mouth, but it's about these two androids that basically are on a ship toward this uninhabited planet, and they have some kids they need to raise, and stuff happens, and there's like factions involved of these like atheists versus religious people, and they're on a mysterious planet, and you don't know what's going on unless you watch it more than once. And I do recommend it if you like hard sci-fi.
Is it a movie or is it a shoe?
It's a 10-episode shoe.
Is it 10 hours long?
I mean, they're 47-minute episodes.
And you watched the whole thing?
I did.
Question.
Yes.
I think everybody in the world agrees that Westworld sucks donkey dicks.
Westworld was very fine up until the end of season 1. And then midway through season 2, it starts to fall apart, and season 3 can be jettisoned into outer space.
That is the greatest disappointment in TV history, in my opinion. The lead up to it.
No, it isn't.
I was genuinely excited with season 3. I thought it was going to be great, and I was so hyped, and it just was.
Everyone knows
it was
that
bad.
Everyone knows that the biggest disappointment in TV history is that the Lost finale wasn't longer.
It should have been its own season.
Its whole season. This show sounds like I'm not gonna lie to you. This show sounds like it sucks.
It took me a little while to sort of enjoy it because it is kind of like the barrier to entry is a little medium, but by the time you get to like the season finale, you're kind of really invested. If you watch the first 2 episodes and you just hate it, like don't watch anymore. But if you're intrigued even slightly, because there are like little threads of mystery that are going on, I don't know.
I will never watch The Expanse, but let me tell you about the show that I did watch 4 or 5 episodes of this week. It's called Babylon 5. Another very hard sci. It has taken me maybe 8 months to make it through 2/3 of the first season of this show. It is rough, but
isn't that a sign? Isn't that a sign?
No, because apparently it gets much better once Bruce Boxleitner shows up, and he ain't been on it yet.
Along those same lines, I couldn't make it through the entirety of Starbuck, that one.
Battlestar Galactica?
Couldn't make it through it. Couldn't do it.
Or Stargate?
Battlestar. The writing was just so like loose and didn't make sense to me. It was like I don't know what's going on.
Battlestar starts strong and then just falls the fuck apart. I do think Stargate SG-1. By the way, it's thrown out there. The locked, whatever they call it, Cryon, Chevron. The Chevron Locked, a Stargate SG-1 podcast.
Nah.
There's a lot of. It's just like
I would sooner do Squeaky Gate than that.
Oh yeah, Squeaky Gate definitely. SG-1 is nothing but fucking Star Trek with different concepts. But right. Babylon 5 is fun. I like Babylon 5. There's some pretty good outside stuff, and it's supposed to get good eventually. So
have either of you seen The Expanse?
No, I just said I'll never watch it. Fuck you for even saying it. You're dead.
I watched part of the first episode, and I was like,
I've heard it's good. I haven't watched it, but
I don't want realism in my science fiction. I want ray guns. I want faster than light speed. I want aliens sucking on jargons. Like
you want a Baby Yoda?
Yeah. I mean, like I want it to be like that's the problem with Star Wars that they're like, oh, we got to make it serious, as opposed to the fact that like it's absolutely ridiculous that there's a Baby Yoda floating in like a fucking ball, a little roly poly. He's like, oh, look at me in my little roly poly.
I'll eat anything.
I committed genocide and people love me. I'm like,
no, Baby Yoda almost got canceled over that.
What? Yeah, I know. Baby Yoda is the real villain in the Palestine situation. I think everyone agrees.
Oh no. God.
I can say that because I'm part of it.
Ugh.
Kind of.
Ugh.
Ugh.
All right, so one last thing before we get to shut ups. Have you guys seen any cicadas around? I guess we're gonna see them very shortly.
I haven't seen a goddamn one.
I saw a shell this morning.
Oh, I saw one of them at my mom's the other day, but I did see a lot of cicada holes in the mud.
Does Anne Arundel County not get, like, I'm out here in Glen Burnie right now. Does it not get cicadas?
I think they are emerging. By the end of the month, it's going to be like a UFO is outside your head.
A UFO? Did you see that apparently there was a big UFO thing on 60 Minutes the other night?
Yeah, the more of this information that comes out, we should just do an entire episode about like UFO shit.
On aliens?
Fuck yeah,
I'm in.
dude.
Listen,
Dude, like 10-year-old me.
It can't always be about Baltimore and Star Trek.
all I know is that nobody go to LV 247. Bad idea.
What would be the X-Files spinoff podcast be called?
Oh,
The
I
truth
want to
is out
believe.
there.
Yeah.
I want to believe poster, an X-Files podcast.
Not just I want to believe poster.
Honestly,
yeah.
the answer is Scully gets it wrong. On the
Oh, yeah, there you go.
X-Files podcast.
Enjoy.
Told her it just can't be aliens. It's like, fuck, Scully.
No, it's aliens. It's aliens. Fucking aliens.
Season.
This guy that eat cancer. He eats cancer, okay? There's
You've been
aliens.
doing this for 5 fucking years. You know that Eugene Toombs lives off of other people's livers.
You got impregnated by an alien. There's aliens.
Let me
But
tell
he's
you.
not really an alien.
Or we just do 100 episodes watching one episode of X-Files. And that's the only episode we ever watch is Home.
We do an episode per minute of the X-Files episode.
There are podcasts that do that. There's
I heard about one for Star Wars, I think.
I think there's also like a Rocketeer one.
I'm sure their audience is immense.
And I'm somebody who listens to who watches the Rocketeer maybe once a quarter. I watch that movie a fucking lot.
Right. Well, all of these topical concepts are making me a little angry.
So are cicadas. But yeah,
Making me a little venti, Casey.
That's 20.
That's right. Getting me a little pissed off. Whoa. That's loud. Time to go right ahead and tell everyone to shut up.
We're going to let the band deal with this.
All right, I'm turning this all the way down so I don't get a copyright strike, and it is now time to end the show and give persons, places, and things that are lowering our quality of life and generally deproving it a hearty, proverbial, or literal shut up. Pa! Casey, what do we have from our Facebook group?
You, sir, Evan, says, shut up to the lack of appreciation of Casey's creative process for these.
Yeah, Casey did a Team Rocket-themed solicitation for shout-outs and shut-ups.
Yeah,
I wrote my own words.
It was medium good.
Medium good, I like that.
Oh, yeah, one of these days when you've got enough of them out, we will do a power ranking of all of them.
Okay. I like it.
So let that be a motivator for you, Casey.
Okay. John H. says, shut up to gasoline. Shut up to buying gasoline. Shut up to people buying gasoline they don't need. Shut up to to people buying gasoline they don't need and storing it in anything other than a car's gas tank.
That's right.
Did you all see that, people putting gas in Tupperware container?
Saw the videos and fuck those guys.
The Hummer that blew up with
4 barrels or something.
yeah, something like that.
Sounds like Florida business to me.
Chris says, shut up to tree pollen. I'll be wearing my mask another month.
Shut up to Chris complaining about pollen for the past 8 weeks.
And so my shut up is to all the shitheads who think that the CDC updating their masking guidelines means that COVID's a hoax. I guess because all the mask mandates are gone, now you look like everyone else not wearing a mask and have no way to show everyone you're an asshole.
Right.
Shut up to Ticketmaster for using the pandemic as an excuse to jack up their fees on some shows. And shut up to people, cold called salespeople. Does it ever really work? Why are you calling me out of the blue?
Yeah, with cell phones, yeah, like, no. I don't
every
need
day.
your insurance. I don't need my car warranty extended. I don't need any of it. You're not going to buy my house for cash. I'm sorry.
I'm such a douche. I did not grow up in a call waiting house or a caller ID house. So I answer the phone whenever it fucking rings. But what I've started doing, if I don't have the number saved, I'll always go, hello?
Who is this?
Who are you?
Are you my doctor?
I just yeah, like it's fucking 1995 and my mom's not home. I'm gonna laugh at you. And I just making prank calls. Oh, I'm doing an Adam Sandler voice. How do you feel about that? $1.25. You're gonna shove it right up your ass, possums.
Brian, do you have a shut up, or are you just gonna do your Adam Sandler impression for the rest of the show?
I listened, and thank you for mentioning that. I listened to the Adam Sandler classic, "Do It for Your Mama," the other day. That's one where play with your cock and balls for a bit, And my shut up is that there aren't more of those in my life.
Yeah, comedy albums. I missed them.
I like comedy skits, and I wish we all could go to parties and put on just good albums, comedy records, and maybe smoke some grass.
1998, George Carlin's Doing It.
Yeah,
It was more
or
like 78.
brain droppings. Ugh. You know what?
I used to have that book.
Here's my real shut up. Shut up to people who like late career George Carlin, and not
I celebrate his entire career for the most part in different ways. I really do like his political stuff. I like his anti-corporate stuff. I like his nonsensical, wordplay stuff. I like all of it. I really do.
I'm a hippy dippy weatherman kind of guy,
I am not. I like that, but that's definitely not in my top.
But I also love Cheech and Chong like records, like and shit like that. Like, let's make a dope deal.
Right. All right. So my shut up is to getting waitlisted for a virtual class that there is no exam for or anything. I'm just sitting there absorbing knowledge and answering questions in online polls. God damn it. I'm just trying to professionally develop. Just let me do that. Thanks. Shut up. Okay. That's it. Yeah. All right, that has been episode 362 of the CTB Show. I want to thank again all of you who are listening and or watching on YouTube. All 3 to 5 of you. And as usual, thank you to Smythe Jeweler for their continued support of this program. Have a great day and a better tomorrow.
Peace be unto you.